All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Legend of the Galactic Heroes, episode 57. Last week we got a wonderful history episode that Poplin actually stayed attentive for through the whole thing.
Yeah. I mean, anything to help him seduce a potential history teacher in the future.
Right, yes, that is, yep, exactly. He's got to tie it back into that original motivation somehow. And I'm sure he does have that teacher fetish among many, many others. But
I mean, if anything, it's just good for his, his arsenal, his tool belt,
Indeed, yes.
Just have in there.
Oh, God.
Ready in case he needs it.
But before that history episode, it was kind of setting things up like, okay, Church of Terra are trying to set something up with Kummel and things like that, and then Mariendorf's dad being like, hey, can you get him, to, like, hang out with Reinhard and stuff? So maybe that'll be this episode, possibly. Who knows? Yeah.
We've got a lot of stuff basically going on within the Alliance side of things as well, and it's just a question of, based on what they've set up within this history kind of lesson here, are we going to be pointing at the Empire a little bit more with this info, since it was based around more how the Empire kind of came to be?
Right, what it came from and out of, and yeah.
But also in some ways what humanity had experienced that led to the Alliance being born out of the Empire. So those cycles repeating in some ways, given that we are in a potential time for a golden era of humanity with regards to peace, maybe.
We certainly have a golden-haired leader at the front of it, so...
Yeah, and you would say, actually, that in terms of, galactic emperors and stuff like that, this is a pretty good one, all things considered.
Yes. That is, definitely.
All things considered in that regard.
Right, hopefully it stays that way for at least a little while.
Yeah. But, it's not going to last.
It's not going to last.
That's just how this whole thing is. This is an Alexander the Great kind of situation.
Right.
This guy's got 5 years, 10 years, maybe.
And even if he doesn't get corrupted himself, Alexander the Great, cut up that pie, when all of his subordinates take over.
Yeah, exactly. Peacetime is awkward.
Right.
And, Reinhard is, slowly but surely kind of pushing people away just in general, so makes him a little bit isolated and vulnerable.
Yep.
So,
but Caleb, what's with that, lack of alliance shirt?
Oh, yes. As you all know, the Alliance clearly no longer exists right now, so I am now channeling my inner Fejanese.
Fejanese,
yes.
Nice.
I'm trying to be a social media influencer there and get people to comment and orbit. That's how
orbit.
That's how they do it there. Yes, exactly.
I see.
Because subscribing has this connotation of being,
sub. Yeah, I see. Yeah.
Fejanese, they're just the best. So you orbit. Yeah.
You do look very Boris Konev.
Thank you.
If you told me that you had a space transport or whatever, and you were going to do independent jobs that could be above board, maybe under the table, I would not doubt it for a second.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone. Now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below. Then come back here for the discussion. Well,
I kind of figured it was going to be some kind of assassination attempt or whatever, but I did not expect, and I kind of figured that it would...
bomb underneath the garden table. Yeah.
Right, and as far as the reasons for it, I think we mentioned that when they brought him up, because he said...
Yeah.
That I've never done anything with my life and all of that stuff, and I want to do something great. And then it's
he was desperate for purpose or meaning to be found in his final days. Basically.
Right. Yeah. And then I believe that might have even been the point at which the narrator said he would go on to have a big impact on the galaxy. Right. And it's I wonder.
What I initially thought it was going to be was he was going to give Reinhard. I thought he was going to give Reinhard perspective on death and mortality.
Yeah.
And basically that there was going to be an initial bit where he would basically give Reinhard some aspect of that, but it would ultimately not be something where Kummel would realize he had done anything.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And he would die thinking he had done
nothing. Exactly.
But it, and even if the history books wouldn't say anything, then but in reality he would have had a big impact.
Right.
Yeah, that would have been really cool. I still think
that could have happened here.
Sure.
And we don't know really what that influence will be because Reinhard has had what, like one other like big assassination attempt,
And that was when Kierheist died.
and that was when Kierheist died. So these types of moments stick with him for sure. But this was one that was tied rather closely to the Mariendorf family. Even if it wasn't the Mariendorfs at all that were, responsible here, there is a possibility, at least with Franz's case, that he might have. He might have been involved.
Which is, and I think that's where the big impact will come from, because Mariendorf,
Division.
she's one of the closest people to Reinhard,
Yep.
right?
Exactly.
The whole thing of I've never considered the idea of marrying Reinhard, and then looking out the window, it's
sure,
like,
honey.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Sure, Jan,
Yeah, and I'm sure he's never considered it either, But now that this has happened, right, and Reinhard has made the decision that he did to not execute, or really punish like the rest
anyone
of anyone
connected to him,
right? Anyone
because
connected to him.
he was a weapon of the Church of Terra.
Yeah,
which is a really cool way to look at it.
Yes, it is an awesome way to look at it. I love it, and yet that is something that, as far as Reinhardt's enemies go, that is a thing that they will see as weakness.
Well, that's why he's then choosing to use the military dispatch to Terra as his sign of strength.
Right.
Which is, you sent in an assassin. You used a poor, broken old, poor, broken, young, dying man to try and kill me. No way that had a chance.
Right.
I dispatched him myself.
Which I love that.
That's so perfect.
Yep.
And there's a possibility that Reinhardt, even in his, tense state of thinking about Kierheist and his sister in that moment there, might have even been baiting him with the thing of like, I clearly care about this.
Oh, sure.
No.
I would not be surprised.
You're the kind of person that won't actually push that button.
Yeah. And you're power tripping. So I'm going to show you basically, not just in the pride of I'm not going to beg for my life, but I'm going to sort of flaunt this in front of you to show that I'm not even thinking about you.
Yeah. My mind is elsewhere.
My mind is elsewhere.
So when you demand for it, then, I'll strike you. You'll fall. Drop the thing. This will be over.
Yep.
Now, to be fair, Reinhard was very lucky that Church of Terra member was not underground.
Yes.
Waiting for if he doesn't do it, I'll do it anyway.
By this time,
Yeah. The timer thing, I feel like, is not what he would be about.
Yes. Yeah. He would. Well. Yeah. That's a great point.
Because he needs to have his moment, basically, of memorability, basically, where he becomes etched into history.
Right. That's more the kind of thing that the Church of Terra member might have tried to, if the
done
Terra
against
member,
him.
Right. And maybe he specifically was like, no, you can't be down there because I'm going to be the one that is in control of this, right? It's the thing of he's easy to manipulate because he's desperate and all of that stuff, but because he's unstable, it also means that he's not a very
trustworthy ally.
He's not a very trustworthy ally, right? Because he has his own motivations for it that are completely not aligned with yours, right?
Yep. And to be fair, Terra might already have won something by the way that some of Reinhardt's newest top cabinet members are already getting some sus thrown their way. And I would say rightfully so for at the very least Franz. Hilda, though, by association will get a bit of that sus as well, which harms Reinhardt's potential at the very least of considering, marriage with her for the immediate sense. But what I would say it also really harms the potential bit of is that this happened easily.
Yeah.
This is something that Reinhard was quite lax in basically allowing to have happen. He could have had basically a detail sweep the estate.
Yep.
And they probably would have found something. Or at the very least been like, okay, we swept the estate. These places are safe. Therefore, you can only go to these places while you're here.
Sure.
And then he would have been like, let's go to the garden. They're like, no. He's going to remain in the lobby or in the foyer or in the Great Hall or
the
whatever.
Assassination attempts in Legend of the Galactic Heroes so far have been have favored explosives and poisons and things like that, right? Even in the one where Kierheist died, the first thing that was brought out was a freaking rocket launcher, right? Yeah. Even though the thing that killed Kierheist was a little ring laser, right?
Exactly.
But even in that situation, even if there wasn't a cellar underneath with the Zephyr particles and all that stuff, there totally could have just been a sniper in the trees, right? Like and then it's just, okay, Reinhardt's right there, cool, poof, dead, there you go.
He really is,
Like
Yeah, the explosives was the I want to have
I want it to be a literal blaze of glory.
Right, I want to have my name be remembered for this because there will be probably some of you here at the table that like could survive.
Right, well, might barely survive and tell the story kind of a thing. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he
it will
wants to.
and it will leave a crater in the ground to mark the spot of where I killed the ruler of the universe.
The
yeah,
dynasty.
Right, exactly. So,
yeah.
but the whole point that Mariendorf's dad brought up of hey, marriage, successors, that is kind of important here because Reinhard, you don't have one right now, and you could have died there.
Died.
If not for the incompetence of your enemies, you would have died.
Yep.
Right? So,
I really wonder, though, if that was Franz's, like, long-term play here, basically.
Oh,
is
yeah?
That he's like, hey, this doesn't have to happen anytime soon with Kummel. If I can get a baby... And
like
Hilda,
beforehand.
Maybe, beforehand. Oh no, he died. Well,
yeah. Although having that's actually
that is a point of when you time assassinations like this. Sometimes a new marriage, from a new family. That was that was the whole thing with a lot of like things just in general. Was you would have just in history in general, is you would have basically the thing of like we'll marry and stuff. It'll be great. And then once the baby is confirmed, plan the assassination attempt. Let's go.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
And if anything, the thing that makes me feel like Franz is in the clear and didn't know about it is the fact that he brought up the whole idea of marriage and things like that, right?
Oh, okay.
Because it's showing that he had a different power play, right? Like I could see it being something where you plan the assassination attempt, but if it becomes known that it's someone at least, even not in your immediate family but related to you,
sure, then
that whole familial relations thing, there's a precedent for it to get thrown out the window because the assassin was related to you. So,
sure. That's true. That's true.
Yep. So
yeah, this really screws up things then for the Mariendorfs. Like a lot.
Oh yeah.
So, and even though Kummel said, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to get you involved in this. It's basically saying, I had no connection to you, Hilda. Like,
right, but it
really none.
Doesn't matter. You still basically effed things up for her, royally,
big time.
And even if say Reinhard, like because he made the decision of no punishment and stuff, protecting them basically.
Yeah.
But if it's something where as a result of this, Hilda's at least pushed away from Reinhard.
Sure.
Like he kind of pushes her away because
they even voluntarily put themselves under house arrest.
Yeah. Because Reinhard's biggest issue right now is that he's alone, right? He doesn't have Keir Heiss and he doesn't have a sister. Mm-hmm. Mariendorf is the closest thing to that he has right now.
Yeah.
Oberstein is I'll try and keep you safe and do, cover up for some of the problems that arise because you're alone.
Right.
But if Mariendorf is then pushed away by Reinhard or by external circumstances or whatever as a result of this, that's sort of like the last hope that Reinhard had of being able to find a stable position as a ruler, for the long term. I would say that would be it.
You know what I just realized?
What?
If we go by the rules of succession, Anna Rose is next in line if there's no heir.
That's
now to
true.
be fair, this isn't via the nobility anymore.
Right, you're right. So
But it would be her if we went by typical rules of succession.
That is true.
So in some ways, I feel like Anna Rose is kind of getting maybe a bit of a subtle lead-in for her coming back into the story soon.
Okay, all right.
That he's kind of like needing family nearby.
Yeah,
and really she is his only family. And if Hilda ends up getting moved out a little bit just because there's suspicion thrown on her and her family, Anna Rose coming in would be really strong in terms of a move for Reinhardt to basically remind them that they're a family, but also like she could be extremely helpful.
Yep.
In this instance.
So one of the things I'm kind of curious about is maybe if the time skip could be used for that, because
time skip?
The assumed time skip to get to the point where Reinhard has the glorious long hair, right?
Oh,
Because if because I understand why she doesn't why she wanted to separate herself from Reinhardt originally, right? Mm-hmm. Keir Heiss died, right? And it's as a result of his ambitions and things like that, right? But the fact that they still aren't talking is kind of like that. Something horrible happened, and Reinhardt's too proud to go back to her and say, "Hey, I need you," right?
I'm sorry, I got Keir Heiss killed.
Right, and enough time has passed because I think he might have even told her that he needed her back then, but it's in the moment, it's right after.
Oh yeah,
I can't see you right now.
It's the wrong time.
Right, and I'm not entirely sure how much time has passed since then. I think it's been a decent amount of time.
We have the timeline, so we can go back and check.
That is true. That is true. But even if it hasn't been kind of enough time, sort of in Reinhardt's mind at least,
right?
And he is very busy right now, so that he has a bunch of reasons why he's not.
Right.
But maybe that could be a way to bring her back into the story as well, because then it's it's been a long time. This needs to get addressed, put behind us, whatever.
Day
without you, my friend. Man, the whole idea that he was holding on to the pendant with Keir Heiss's hair in there, just think I'm totally on board with you with the whole idea of that he's just thinking, hey, if I do die, then I can see him again. Man, that's like Reinhardt already has one foot in the grave, basically. Like not physically or anything like that, but for his mental state and where he's at, right? Oh man.
Yeah. It's just
it's absolutely compelling to watch, and yet it's so sad.
It's
right?
so sad, yeah.
Like
it's ruthless, yeah.
Oh man.
All right. So I'm double checking the timeline here to see how long it's been.
Mm-hmm.
And in terms of how long I think it would have been right around here. Yeah, because that's just showing that Keir Heiss is still helping with regards to certain stuff in the overall conflict between the Alliance. That's Jessica Edwards.
Well, we can figure it out after the episode. But yeah, I want Anna Rose to come back into the story, right? Because I feel like that conversation between her and Hilda was so good, right?
Mm-hmm.
I desperately want her to be brought back into the story because this conflict within Reinhardt, because as he said, right, I don't have any big opponents left, right? And that almost makes me want to crush myself, as just so that I can have a true challenge. But the thing is that he's only used to challenges in the military matter, right? In the political machinations, in the I will overpower you and prove my dominance, right?
Yeah.
But that's not his biggest conflict right now, right? His biggest conflict is within himself, with his family, that's the issue. And it's something that it's a battle that he's not used to fighting, right? Yeah. So he's not very well equipped to handle it, but and maybe it's because of his pride or whatever, he knows what he knows, right? So he sticks with what he's used to, and he doesn't do that, even though that's actually where maybe everything could be resolved. And will he realize that before it's too late?
Yeah.
I don't know. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Yeah. It was episode 26 when Keir Heiss died.
Yeah,
that was
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Over.
It's been we've had more time with Keir Heiss being dead
than we had
with him being alive. And I think that also speaks a lot to Reinhardt's internal state, right? Because yes, within the, Keir Heiss died timeline-wise in the world, much less, Keir Heiss and Reinhardt knew each other for a very long time. They grew up together, all that stuff,
totally.
Right? But the idea that this is now Reinhardt's just whole world, right? Of it's a world without Keir Heiss, and that's basically what it is. That's how he sees a lot of things. Also, TrueKnit was just a cockroach.
Yeah. So let's talk about TrueKnit really quick here. So TrueKnit, I could totally see being as a deep agent for them.
Sure.
And that this whole thing is meant to fail, and it's something just to maybe buy him another card, another notch on his belt of I am pro-Empire, so that he can switch sides basically because the Church of Terror realized that the alliance was finished or something.
Yeah.
Based on TrueKnit's assessment or something. So then he ends up going over here. But it's like, oh, yeah. I never once approved of the tenets of the Church of Terror, but we're going to do this.
I'm not sus. Yeah. Like, it's one of those things where...
I know I didn't report the body, but I saw them kill it. So I ran all the way back to the meeting. Yeah.
I waited until the assassination was actually underway to tell you guys about it, even though I found out about it a long time ago. But, it's all cool, right? I'm good.
Right. I mentioned this... before the discussion started, but after the reaction.
Yeah, and I really like it. Yeah.
TrueKnit could be telling the entire truth here in that he was such a coward that he didn't want to run the risk of telling them about the assassination attempt and getting in trouble for just knowing this kind of info at all and being associated with them. Because if he told them, they would have stopped the assassination attempt and then they would have never known whether or not it was the case. But if he tells them that there's one ongoing right now, he basically is like saying, you know now that my information was valid.
Immediately confirmed.
And then they immediately wipe out the Church of Terra on Odin, thus keeping him actually alive for the time being.
And now it's now we're going to wipe out Church of Terra as a whole, which is like, that's what he probably wants. That's what Rubinsky probably wants, because it's we're doing our own thing and we're affiliated with the Church of Terra because they're helpful, but we don't actually, our goals are absolutely not aligned.
Right.
We like the existence. We keep all our stuff there, so
we don't drink poison to kill ourselves.
Although apparently even like the fact that the leader is like, oh, I don't know if I want to do this, as he sees like all the people dead in front of him. It's so perfectly awful.
So perfect, yeah.
Yeah, like it's, and then of course he doesn't get to, but he
then
runs
gets
tortured, but then runs himself into a wall
with the force to crack his skull and kill him.
I mean, he was old, but damn.
But no, I'll just say the amount of force you need to have to do that is
he had to be going full tilt.
Well, right, but also, like, full on, like...
Yeah.
Wow. And also, since it was a flat surface, he has no point of incision.
Right, exactly. To help break the skull. Yeah.
Right, it's the idea of when you, like, try to crack an egg, you crack with your thumb, you don't apply equal pressure.
Because then you just...
Well, no, because then the egg's, like, extremely hard.
Then the egg's a lot harder. Right, yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, speaking of eggs cracking, they had a brain fall out of that guy.
Yeah, they did.
Legend of Galactic Heroes every once in a while is just like, hey, do you forget? This is an adult show, so here we go. Extreme violence and gore,
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, God, that...
It didn't surprise me though after the last episode. I was like, or it surprised me
before this.
Yeah. It was very much like, oh, I didn't expect that, but it wasn't like I was just like, oh yeah. I mean, what we had last episode. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That's true. But also, I gotta say, Kessler, the swiftness at which you dispatched everything, and then came back to your leader here with I accept responsibility. This was my failing. He is a man of integrity.
Yeah,
he's a man of honor.
Yep.
And I very much am curious how they're pitting the two departments of. They're both internal security type departments here.
Right, but military police versus secret police.
Yeah, let's bring them up here. So Lang is the internal security guy. Let's bring him up here on our notes. Specifically.
You passed him there.
Oh, really? Already?
There he is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Heydrich Lang. He is...
Internal Security Department.
Internal Security Department, but is basically the secret police, just rebranded, right? But then you have Osmer, who is the Minister of Internal Affairs, and then you have Kessler, who is the Military Police Commissioner.
Right.
So you get this kind of, like, vibe of... Wait a minute. Lang's like, I think we should take more time so we can... The nature of the church.
Why would he want to do that? Like, that very much seemed just
it's like... It's a two-imposter game, remember? We could have someone that's...
It felt very, like, personal power kind of a thing, not a do my job. Because... Or doing your job when your job doesn't need to be done. Like...
Right, but here's another way to look at it. He's the secret police guy, right? So... If he wants to basically be like, I'll handle this myself, the personal power thing might be not in him elevating his personal power, but in I like to have my hands be the one that
Right.
holds the knife.
Even if
I'm the surgeon here.
Right.
I'll cut. It'll be nice and clean. Don't worry. You don't have to handle this at all.
right, even when he's
Yeah.
more of like, yeah, it's,
Which, yeah.
yeah.
Just feels like the kind of thing of if this is what he was doing. It
Yeah.
feels like the Church of Terra would have been a much bigger problem on his like priority list, right? I don't know.
Right, yeah,
It just seems sus.
Yeah, he seems sus.
Seems
yeah.
sus, man.
You know, yeah. Whereas like Kessler, it's like, how could we possibly be sus of Kessler? Like, he is
Kessler cannot be
like, no.
like that would be the biggest. Just like,
Yep.
why? Why did
Like,
you wait this long?
Kessler
man?
being not sus is like Bittenfeld being like, hey, can I go? You know, like,
Yeah, the
like
goddess of victory hovers over Terra.
exactly. And
I wish to see those panties.
and what's underneath? Like, come on, like, can I just go? You know, like
No,
that's
you are cucked. And he's
right,
just
right,
like,
exactly. Damn it, you know. Yeah. But
God.
so yeah, I love Kessler and yeah, Bittenfeld being like, hey, Reinhard,
Yeah.
can I be the one to take care of it? And he's like, hold on, that's a bit excessive. We don't need
You are so strong, Bittenfeld.
exactly.
Let me, work
Right.
your ego a little bit here.
Uh-huh.
No, that would be excessive. The Black
Yeah.
Lancers, after all.
No, that's
Wallen,
too much.
You're a little bitch. You can go and deal with this then, right? Like basically, I felt bad for Wallen in that
did
case
kind of too,
because it was
yeah.
like, wait a minute, what is he?
No.
Chopped liver here?
Well, I think Wallen is. Oh wait, he's an admiral, and Bittenfeld is also an admiral.
They're both
No.
admirals, man.
Yeah, no, that's
What's the difference?
that is a good question.
Maybe what it is he knows the reputation of the Black Lancers being like.
Sure, yeah. Bittenfeld would be like, we're going to win, and it's like, hold on. I don't want to just like send you in to slaughter 10 million people. You know, like I'm gonna send someone in that has a bit more discretion.
Or maybe it's just casually being like omitted here, but it's
Mm-hmm.
something that's understood is Black Lancers have an actually like kind of big fleet.
Oh,
Wallen,
sure.
You know,
The fleet's a bit smaller.
you've
you
got
know.
a 2,000 ship fleet, you know.
Right,
You're in the
exactly.
2,000 bracket. You know,
That's plenty. you know.
Bittenfeld, you're in the 6,000.
10,000
10,000
maybe,
bracket,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, yeah.
Vanguard, and he's just like, oh, I will deploy my entire
My fleet is big and hard and ready to go.
Why
yeah.
don't you just send him and his flagship and like a few support ships and be like,
You think Bittenfeld ever does anything halfway?
that's true. That's true. He goes all the way in.
Yeah,
What
you
is
think,
a pull-out game?
What would the Black Lancers do if there were any of them separated from Bittenfeld? He's the only one who keeps them in line, you know?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yes.
They'd need some new
Their
leader.
aim true.
That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But guys, we're headed to the Sol system,
Mm-hmm.
and not just Reinhardt and
Julian literally shows up
Julian
the day
shows up
that he says
the
go
worst possible time.
the worst possible time in the worst possible way. It's like, okay, we'll have to be undercover as, members of the Church of Terra on a pilgrimage.
So
So we should look like pilgrims. Reinhard, go just, take care of the Church of Terra and all
Suppress
of
them.
Suppress them and all of their members and stuff.
and
Make sure to not, make sure to not,
kill the leader.
well, not kill the leader, unless you aren't able to, but make sure you don't hurt the regular civilians, the non-members, right?
Right, but this line here, however, make sure you do not harm non-believers. But then look at this sly little adjustment of his face here when he says, though I doubt there are any non-believers left on Terra.
Yeah,
Basically
like-
saying, oh,
But I know
mean,
what this will probably end up being.
if you end up killing 10 million people,
I would believe that they were pretty much all members.
yeah, that's actually a little bit.
That's terrifying.
That's actually
that's
a little bit interesting because Reinhardt's.
Terrifying.
Yeah, nice. Remember how Reinhardt said, "I won't punish basically the weapon,
Oh, But
but the body." Basically, in this case,
right, it's
the leader gets off basically with no kill order on them, but
well,
yeah.
the leader you can pump for info.
That's true,
Like
I know,
it's
I
not
know.
it's not don't kill them. It's don't kill them yet.
But
that
what
can
I would,
happen whenever.
but what I would
know?
do if I was supreme overlord of the galaxy here,
Yeah.
is I would basically say, Bittenfeld, sure, all you have to do is sit in orbit. You don't do anything. Just stay there and make them piss themselves. Wait a few days. See if they have messages. Don't respond. Just sit there. No pilgrims come in. No pilgrims go out. If anyone just happens to be on Terra, unlucky. Then Then you basically wait after those few days, and they've scared themselves, and a bunch of them probably committed suicide over this thing.
Sure. That's how you figure out who are a lot of the believers.
Then you basically say, send your entire command structure up in a small transport, and we will escort it all the way back to, Imperial space.
And then after they do that, then go down to make sure?
Well, no, literally, at that point there, it's just the thing of,
But they could send up dummy leaders, it's like, oh, yes, I'm the Archbishop.
No, I'm not saying you leave the fleet. You take the fleet away.
Oh, gotcha.
You just escort the ship back. Because if it's a ship that can only hold, 12 people...
Although
it's not going to be able to hold a big bomb or anything.
That is true.
You basically just
and
tow
you can
cable
scan
it
for
back,
stuff like that. Yeah.
Can't do anything. But then it's just the thing of we're just waiting orders. Yeah.
Although I think Wallen is first off, telling Bittenfeld to go somewhere and wait and not do something, that's just torture, right? I think
that's edging.
That's and I think Wallen is much better suited to that sort of procedure.
But that's not what Wallen's doing. Wallen is going there to suppress, which is basically saying you can kill whoever you think deserves it. Serious. That's basically what he's saying.
Kind of.
He sounds like a military dictator.
Well,
here.
yeah,
even though these are traitors essentially to his regime,
right? And well equipped, So it's
how equipped? Though?
Well, okay, the one on Odin, they had
guns.
They had guns. Yeah,
they don't have ships.
Well, no, yeah.
Like they could have ships.
Yeah. For a second, I thought I didn't realize at first that they were knives that the people pulled out at the end. I thought it was straight up grenades or something. But
oh no, those were
those were knives. I was and it's like, okay, cool.
They're armed with belief and conviction.
Yeah.
Which is terrifying. Sometimes more so than ships, because you can't then just land on a planet of 10 million people where every single one of them could just decide.
Nope.
Oh, this is for the good of the cause?
Well, and the problem...
freaky.
Well, and here's the issue.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There are a lot of, Kool-Aid drinking cultists on Terra, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, probably a good percentage.
But there is
at least 20%.
But there is a definite possibility that a high percentage of the 10 million people could just be people who live on Terra.
Yep.
And they're
I
like,
would assume
nah,
50%.
I don't really that Kool-Aid drinking stuff. I know that some of the people in my religion do that, but no, I don't want to do that. But this is my home.
Honestly, there is usually a pretty good law of rule with regards to most religions in general, is that they're the overwhelming number, the 50%, are kind of the passive.
Yeah, the practitioners in name only.
Yeah. To where even
right.
Even to the people within the religious leaders, the religious leaders of the whole thing, they wouldn't even consider them true believers.
Right.
They're so divided usually in terms of religions and stuff like that it's nonsense.
Right.
So,
but if those people have guns, I absolutely believe that they would try and defend their home, right?
Yeah.
And that's where things get messy.
Yeah, but
because
thankfully Reinhardt has the political marketing excuse as to whatever he does
they did try and assassinate me and stuff, right?
But it is funny that this comes right after the history episode of atrocities committed on Terra.
Oh yeah. So
just saying.
Maybe Wallen could do something of he's going to suppress, and then also basically, hey, if any of you guys want to say that you're not associated with Terra, you can do that. Here's what you do, but everyone else we're coming for.
That's actually a good point. Yeah.
And then that way it's a thing of here's your way to out yourself from this, but just know that that this stuff happened and we are coming to.
But think about that. They're coming, meaning that what's faster, a message or an Imperial fleet?
It's a bit unclear in Legend of the Galactic Heroes. I feel like.
Do you think that the Church of Terra will actually just start evacuating and just spread to the galaxy as fast as possible?
Possibly,
but it's bad.
I think they would only send
bad.
The Odin place was taken out, so it could be very easy for people to find out about that.
Panic, everyone go underground.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Make TrueKnit and find an nearest crack somewhere and just disappear. Yeah.
Oh no, the other crack. Gotcha. Okay, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, sometimes these stupid cults and stuff like that, when they realize, the party's over, well, let's bring out the reserves, and then they just all go actually apeshit crazy. Yeah, that is a thing.
I could
is a
see that.
thing.
Yeah.
I believe there's a story. I'm trying to remember what cult it was, but there was one where basically like the U.S. government or something went and cracked down on them or something like that, and it was like we knew it was all over, so they engaged in like crazy orgies and like killed a bunch of people and stuff like that, and it's just
like more than already was probably going on.
Well, it was like we know we're done for.
So yeah,
live it up, basically.
Oh boy.
And it's just the insanity of cults in general is like
yeah.
yeah. But anyway.
Anywho. Julian,
good
you
luck.
arrived. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have fun. This is going to be great.
Y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there. And all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
All the info for that's in the description.
Yes, if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
next time.